Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Geeking Out podcast. I'm the Athletic Geek, joined once again by CJ. We are going to finish our watch along of SummerSlam 1991. We left off last week at the timestamp of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 30 seconds. So, fast forward to that part of the episode. And when you get to 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 30 seconds, press play now. Hey, Mean Gene. Well, starting off hot.
Yeah. Spitting some truth.
I can barely hear him. What do you say?
He's saying that the match never should have started because Virgil jumped him from behind, and so they never should have rang the bell. They never should have even started the match. He was ripped off. It was the rip off of the century.
I mean,
Not untrue. He jumped him before the match started. He got him while his back was turned, and people have ended or not started matches for a lot less in this company.
yeah. That's weird that Mean Gene's interviewing the heels and um, Sean Mooney's interviewing faces.
I really like the phrase "ripped off" on this year.
Well, can you believe that John Tenta Earthquake was in his 20s there?
Yeah, that's hard to believe. The good zinger from Boss Man.
Jailbird can't fly, a jailbird. Yeah.
Fun fact on closed captions, they don't say World Wrestling Federation, they say World Wrestling Entertainment.
That's funny because back in 2006, I bought Mick Foley's second book. Foley is Good, but it was like a reprinted paperback version, so it had the WWE logo on it, and it was, um, you know, whatever. Um, and when you read the book, it says WWE in it a lot, WWE in it a lot, and then he's quoting a promo that he, ironically, on the Boss Man, at like some show at like they worked at like an amusement park, and um, he's quoting, I said, like, I've wrestled, right here in the World Wrestling Federation. And it said, right here in the World Wrestling Entertainment, where he's quoting it. And that's when it dawned on me. It's like, they had, like, they just did a thing where it's like, find every WWF, replace with WWE. Find every federation, replace it with entertainment. That's what they did on that book to reprint it. That's like
Yeah.
when it dawned on me as a 16-year old. It's like, oh, okay. Like they did this in the easiest, but when you read things like that, the laziest way possible.
I mean, it's better than going through and manually finding them.
True, but whenever you have Mick Foley saying, "Here in the World Wrestling Entertainment," it's like, oh. Sid
Right.
Justice.
Too quiet.
Oh, hey, here we go. Let's see what's happening to. I wonder if they're really just stalling for time so they could get to like wherever they were going to film this.
No, I imagine this is probably filmed like earlier on in the night or something.
Well, I don't know. He looks like sweaty from the match.
Well, those aren't the Miranda rights, but that's okay.
Yeah.
He's Canadian.
Canadian Miranda rights.
Miranda rights, eh?
Just tell us you're sorry.
You just say you're sorry and that the Hearts are the best there is and the best there was and the best there ever will be, Yogi.
And
And we'll let you go.
we'll let you go and just make sure that you make sure you
Now,
drink sure you
if
drop a loony on the way out, eh?
if
I am now alienating all of the Canadian listeners we have.
Easy's gonna be mad about this.
He might be, yes.
So, but if you take it back later, you're gonna have to go to the dungeon. You're gonna have to be stretched. That's a real Canadian jail.
Yeah, that's yeah. It wasn't until we watched that story time where someone's like, yeah, that probably had to be spooky for you know, oh shit, well,
You just got people like screaming in this dungeon.
please tell me like the fans were aware that this was going on. Okay, that was kind of funny. Not really my favorite. I guess the boss man came. What'd you say? Somebody's gonna be a lot. Jimmy, that was the stipulation in the match, there, bud.
I didn't know they were gonna book him.
Oh yeah. I'm interested in half of this match. The Nasty Boys are maybe one of my least favorite tag teams of all time. And I think it was really solidified when Hulk Hogan brought them in. I mean, like when we joked about Hulk Hogan bringing in the Nasty Boys to TNA, and they actually showed up.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, oh god, Brutus Beefcake winning the X Division title might actually happen.
Uh,
Oh, good promo. Fortunately, knowing what I've heard about Hawk now, I just worry things now. Well, they're really going with it like. Hang on one second. We've had a small technical glitch right now. Hey, are we good? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. I was here kind of wondering, like, we had some issues. Live to tape is awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I think of all like the racist things that the WWF has done? You know what I find hilarious? We're gonna
What?
bring the Iron Sheik back, and he's gonna be on this Iraq team. And it's like, but wait a minute, like, well, Vince, he's from Iran, not Iraq. I don't give a shit. Iraq, Iran, same thing. This is America.
Corporate wants you to find the difference in these two pictures.
They're the same picture.
That's Vince.
To Vince, they're the same picture. They're just like, yeah, you're an Iranian, but like, we're gonna make you from Iraq because, of course, we are.
To be fair, how many people would have known the difference?
I'm just saying, it's the principle.
First Lieutenant Justice.
You got some Dockers pants on with that, really, with that tank top. Hmm. Are we actually gonna have some wrestling now? Or are we gonna go
Yeah.
back? Or are we gonna go back to jail with the Mountie? Like, there's a
We're
thing.
trying to
Like,
see the Mountie get the lice bath right now.
yeah. Um. I noticed. They have that screen up on there, but like this is before Titantron, so were the fans in the arena just like wondering, hey, what's going on while all these promos were going on, or were they seeing the Mountie struggles and were they seeing all the different? Someone likes the Nasty Boys, okay. Um,
Yeah, I
uh,
think that they were just sitting back waiting. Maybe they were getting like the Canon T-shirt gun.
did they have those then?
I'm sure they did. It's not
They
like
had Howard Finkel talking to him, entertaining, like, so New York City.
and it could just be like the traditional intermission where it's like gonna take a 15-minute break, everybody. Go to the bathroom, go get drinks, go get food,
We
go
encourage you to
buy
go buy. We
merchandise.
encourage you to go buy merchandise.
Yeah. Things that wrestling companies don't typically do on pay-per-view or TV taping shows. WWE still does it for house shows, I believe. But it's a smart thing to do because then you don't have a bunch of people walking out on matches and you got
Yeah,
a bunch of people going to buy your merch.
yeah. Or you'll just wait till when the big show, when the big show was match starts, and you just go to the bathroom like I did it all out.
Hmm. Which still wasn't long enough.
Nope, nope, still wasn't.
It's It's something that I think AEW could probably work on is not stuffing their card with super great matches. And I know that that sounds like, what the hell would you want that? Because you're wearing out your audience and you're making it sound towards the end of the card like matches aren't as big a deal as they are because
Yeah,
people are too exhausted.
yeah, but for every one of us that say this, there'll be four people on Twitter going like, actually, they should just keep doing that because, you know, matches, you know.
Because I want to see it and I paused and I took a 2 hour nap. Well, then take an intermission.
AEW fans don't sleep, don't you know? They don't go to the bathroom. Nobody at the New Yorker has an anus.
No kidneys, no bladder,
That's a joke.
no REM sleep.
I That was a joke I used to use a lot in college. Is based on that. It's a Family Guy reference of Brian goes to write for the New Yorker, but they um he says like, "Where's the bathroom?" And it's like just a bunch of like chairs in a study, and he goes, "But where's the extra?" It's like, "Oh, no one at the New Yorker has an anus." And just like anytime like snooty people come around, I go like, "Nobody here has an anus." I remember trying to buy clothes from Hollister one time and asking like where the size 36 jeans were, and they're like, if you don't see any there, we don't have any. And I kind of just joked like, yeah, nobody at Hollister has an anus. nobody at Hollister has a nobody at Hollister eats. So
Hmm.
when I hear those sort of comments from a fringe group of the AEW audience, like, yeah, nobody at nobody needs a break in AEW. Nobody no AEW fans have anuses.
Nobody needs a break in AEW. Nobody needs a break. Oh, I'm not even going to say that because that's going to give TK ideas. Could say like a whole wrestling network, a CNN of wrestling for AEW.
I mean, I'd watch that.
24/7.
No, not 24/7, but I would
I mean,
definitely.
that's what I mean when I say CNN of wrestling.
I would watch that. I would watch a CNN of wrestling more than an actual CNN or a Fox News. That's for damn sure. And you could have like the you know what? You could have the different talking points. You could actually like have make sure every viewpoint's covered. You could have Dave Meltzer. You could give Jim Cornette his time.
No, no, no,
Make
no. I'm not talking about a 24-hour wrestling news network. I'm talking about legitimately 24-hour shows. 24-hour Dynamite.
Oh yeah, no, we don't want that. No,
There you go. Now you're
no.
like, I am not talking about that.
I mean, if it's 24-hour wrestling news network, I watch. I turn it off during the Cornette and the.
You want a 24-hour news network? Just pay for an Observer subscription. That's all
Yeah,
you need.
I don't want it that bad.
I don't want that either. Um, no, I'm talking about that. Yeah, just 24. It's gonna give somebody ideas. I'm sure some network would pay for that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Consistent new content. 24/7 title.
Following the 24/7 champion around at all times.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm not talking about this match, but I mean, like,
it's
it's your standard early '90s. Um, and the Nasty Boys kind of suck, so just because I never know when I'll be able to bring up this again. Before they were called memes, I'd post on a wrestling message board, and people would have like at the end of every post, you could have like a signature where you could have like a quote or a phrase or just something stupid. Or you could post like a banner, like which is essentially like a meme. It could be a meme, or it could just be like, hey, here's a cool picture of Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels or Stone Cold or whatever. Um, and there's this one, I don't remember the username, but this guy always made me laugh and make a post because he put on there the new Nasty Boys, Knob and Sags, and Knob was Maven and Sags was Ric Flair. This is in like 2004. So just seeing the Nasty Boys here just reminded me of that. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to bring up the Knob and Sags message board, ProWrestling.com message board banner ever again on this channel, so I had to take this opportunity. So you're welcome, everyone.
We need a thing.
Oh, okay, that was actually a cool spot. I like that. Because you see it so much, like they actually did different variations. So I will give props to the Nasty Boys on this one.
It's not gonna matter because it's LOD.
Yeah.
We don't sell shit, even though
Yep.
they are selling. They're selling quite a bit, but
It's funny when you think about like LOD and we don't sell shit, and it's like it's just it's humorous when like you saw LOD like when they made their return in like the late '90s, just like how much they were beaten down every week by the heels. Like when you see like DX just like abuse them, it's just like, oh god.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is history making. You know what I will give WWF credit for this. They don't have a world title match, but like all the undercard, but including the $1 million championship, all the other belts changing hands like were big deals.
Yeah.
LOD finally getting the WWF tag belts, that's a big deal. Bret Hart getting his first singles title, that's a big deal. Virgil winning something of the $1 million mans, even though that's not like an official title, it's like that's a big deal with that story for Virgil. So,
Virgil winning.
so at that time they knew how to like really give the fans their bang for their buck, um, knowing they're not getting a world title match on the second biggest show of the year. So
They are getting a wedding too. Just
yeah, and the long-awaited wedding of the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth from a kayfabe perspective. So yeah,
yeah.
they're getting everything but Hulk Hogan defending the title. And I'm sure, you're very heartbroken that you're not going to get to see a Hulk Hogan singles match in this card.
I mean,
I think we're getting to the part now where we're going to get to like what really doesn't age well.
I'll walk.
Yep, this is the part where it really has not aged well.
He really made those cops work out for that, huh?
Yeah. Oh, they cut that part out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay. Yep.
I
That.
kind of figured that they weren't gonna put that there.
Yeah, we're not going to imply that the Mountie's going to be sexually assaulted in jail.
We are not going to talk about the Mountie being mounted.
Yeah. That's the part. Okay, so I mean, yeah, there you go. That part was cut out of the Peacock release, everyone, because that's the part I remembered. This was when Cena was talking about because they showed that part on Confidential, and I just remember thinking like, Grant, I was 12, 13, 14 years old.
It's the best wrestler. The best wrestler is on TV right now.
And his whole gimmick is you fucking text cheat. Oh, he probably gonna call us text cheats, isn't he? Hey, he's getting paid. People are booing him. They don't like paying taxes, okay?
Yeah, I can. Nobody does. Nobody likes paying taxes.
Oh,
Oh,
God, it's
Jesus.
Greg Valentine. Oh, but anyway, so when Cena had that match, I remember just kind of thinking, like, you know, they're implying this in 1991. Like, I could understand like them doing something like that in the Attitude Era. Like, oh, somebody, Vince McMahon got sent to jail, and they're going to imply that something happened to him, and it's not aging well or tasteful, but like it's one of those like, well, that's what they did back in the day. So like I could have seen them in 1998 doing that, not 1991 going with that sort of thing, but
Why not
whatever.
91?
Just that's it's a very adult oriented joke, and this was still very much a kid friendly product at the time. That's why I was kind of at the time when I first saw this, like to me, like everything from like 1984 to 1997 was kid friendly. You
They
know,
still had some like little tidbits of adult, like just like Disney movies did back then.
right?
There's always little hints for the adults.
Yeah, and then knowing what I know now, and listening to podcasts and shoot interviews and going back and watch it, like it like okay, yeah, sure, they would definitely do it in '91 or '98 or whatever. But when I first watch that whole thing play out on Confidential, I'm here going like they did that in '91. Like I watched the Royal Rumble 1992 on a VHS tape, and like everything was a lot cleaner, compared to the Attitude Era. And okay, so they basically insinuated the Mountie got touched inappropriately in jail. Okay.
It was also like, I mean, we think about it now and it's like, holy crap, that's an adult subject, but then it was a whole different world, and that was just like a real fun joke for them then. It's a much more serious issue for us now.
Yeah.
Like maybe if it was a serious issue in their minds then, they probably would have done that. But it was it was a silly joke for them then.
Yeah.
It's a product of the time it's from. Before before people start coming at us, it's a product of the time.
Yeah. My experience in watching SummerSlam '91 has not been ruined by the lack of insinuation that um, some assault had occurred in jail. I just right now really want Greg Valentine's match to stop.
Yeah, I could
Greg Valentine Like, is it one of those wrestlers where it's like, okay, then it's why? Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like, I just don't get Greg Valentine. Like, there are people that maybe you have to, you got to put yourself in that time period to appreciate them, and I am okay with that. I can put myself in that time in an old school time period and appreciate the natural disasters or appreciate um Paul Orndorff or all these different people, but like Greg Valentine's once like okay, other than the dog collar match with Piper, it's like okay, that guy, him and like Ronnie Garvin is another one. It's like why were these guys big? Like what am I not seeing?
Uh, I'm
I could put myself in the 1980s and understand why Hulk Hogan was a phenomenon. I don't like it, don't I'm not a Hulkamaniac, but like I understand why Hogan and Warrior were such a big deal, but not Greg Valentine. Like I'm rooting for IRS. I'm rooting for taxes, you guys. Right now I'm rooting for taxes.
as you should.
Fucking tax cheats.
So I gotta support my fellow accountants.
See, now Counter's he just a tax man.
Well, I mean, we're pretty much synonymous. The only people that can interpret what lawyers write into tax law are usually accountants.
Okay, is this the end of the match? Please be the end of the match. I really want this to be the end of the match.
No, he's
I don't think ROH can get to the IRS get to the rope. He gets to the ropes immediately. Um. And what's sad is like I know like right now for me watching this, I know this pay per view has fucking peaked. Like there is nothing else on here that for me like to be pumped up about. Like Perfect and Brett has happened. It's over. It's like I gotta watch Hulk Hogan wrestle and an in-ring wedding. So I'm just like, oh dear.
there you go.
Yeah. Action, and we use that term somewhat loosely. Am I being too mean to Greg Valentine?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. The hot ticket. Man,
Is
they're gonna show this shit again. Yeah, they really want you to buy this.
I can miss it.
Real. This is two advertisements for this. That like, I wonder if also if you're listening to this, if you bought the Hulk Hogan, the American Hero story deal on pay per view, let it be known in the comments section below. I will not laugh at you. I cannot promise my colleague will not laugh at you.
I will not laugh at you, but I do have follow ups.
Speaking of which,
I don't believe that. I think you probably had a rush a couple hours ago in the dressing room.
yeah. So you've been waiting for a rush like this. So okay, Hulk. So you're implying that wrestling Andre, you didn't have a rush like this. You're implying that trying to get your title back from the Macho Man was not a rush like this. You're implying that having to beat Slaughter at WrestleMania to get your title back was not a rush. What the? Really, Hulk? Hulk Hogan! So also for those that don't know, apparently right before this match happened, the Ultimate Warrior held up Vince for a significant amount of money.
Yeah, he did.
He basically said, "I want everything Hulk gets and then some." And Vince basically said, "Sure, we'll give that to you." And then right after this match happened, Vince said, "Go fuck yourself" to the Ultimate Warrior, and fired him. And you hate to feel like you hate to be on Vince McMahon's side about anything, but
But
that is a god tier move from Vince McMahon right there. Yeah, yeah, we'll give that to you. Just go wrestle. All right, you're fired.
well, and it kind of I'm not the biggest Jeff Jarrett fan either. However, at least, he was smart enough to understand that he probably wasn't walking out with a long-term contract when he did that, and he got the money up front.
I think you can believe it or not believe it. When hearing Jeff Jarrett's side of that whole story and listen to like how he's like, you can't call the man an idiot.
No, I mean, however it went, I there are two sides to every story, and there's the truth. Um, I don't totally believe everything that Jeff Jarrett says. He's a wrestler, so I take his road stories with a grain of salt, like I do pretty much everybody else's. Um, so I think that he's probably got a little bit of embellishment on his side. I don't think Vince has ever really gotten big into talking about that story because it doesn't. At the end of the day, the fact is that Jeff got money, and and he pulled one over on Vince in one way or another. So it Vince isn't going to tell that story.
Right.
Um, even if it makes him look like he embellished it, he's still not going to tell that story. Um,
But I'm talking about like the whole hey don't pay me out. Pay me out of the Gundarina fund. Don't pay me out of the WWF fund. So you can't put a stop order on this check. And
Mm-hmm.
like that was like some. That is some impressive shit there. It's like, dude covered his bases to make sure, like, okay, I'm gonna get my money and I'm not gonna get fucked.
Yeah, he knew how the financial system worked. Like he knew finances. That's what. Um, there's there's a show on Netflix called Ozark, where they're doing money laundering, and I personally like it because I work in that environment, not in money laundering, but in
But say you launder money?
finance. I don't launder money. I do not launder money publicly on the record. I do not launder money. But I do work in finance, and so all those rules, regulations, and laws that they talk about, I'm very well aware of. And so to see a fictional account of how they're getting around that or twisting it is interesting to me. It's interesting to a lot of people that don't have the background that I do. But it's a little bit more. So when I hear stories of people that know and appreciate the rules, it's like, yeah, good job. Proud of you. Proud of you for learning some stuff. Yeah, just throw that belt, buddy. Doesn't mean nothing.
Oh
Real
well.
champions coming in.
Well, he about 2 years after this, or a year and a half after this, or whatever, he would go to Japan and call the belt a toy.
Well, I just treated it like it, so there's that. Yeah, he really fucking deserved to hold that belt for a super long time. Long ass title run bullshit.
I know you hate Hulk Hogan, but I mean, do you see the reaction though?
I see the reaction. I'm not blind. I'm not blind. I see the reaction. I also see him being a total tool.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
I'm not standing up for Hulk Hogan, but whenever he finally, a couple years ago, admitted, yeah, I did it and I don't care, like, I don't want to say I respect him, but, like, I appreciate the fact that he was honest. I appreciate the fact that he didn't give a, well, brother, they just couldn't handle it, brother. Sometimes you got to step up and do this, brother. And you fall by the wayside, brother. And I was the only one able to step up. Whenever he went like, no, no, yeah, I screwed over a bunch of people, but that's why I'm still making money in this business, and they're not. And that's just what you got to do, and that's you take care of number one in wrestling, and I'm like, you confirm that you're a piece of shit, and I don't like you, but on the flip side, it's like, well, he's honest. He was honest.
It
He was an
eventually. He was eventually honest.
right.
Event. This is 30 years ago. This shit right here that we're watching happened 30 years ago. He had been on top for a long ass time. This is 30 years. He is ending real soon his WWF legacy, like not super soon, but in the next few years from this, he'll go somewhere
Well,
else.
after WrestleMania, he'll go away for. They treated that like that was his last match, and then if it wasn't until Vince getting panicky at WrestleMania, I go, we gotta have
Yeah.
Hulk, we gotta have Hulk, we gotta have Hulk. And then he let Hulk just dictate everything and really fuck people over, like
Yeah, then
Yokozuna.
he really
Like,
got dickish. And then he went to a new company and he got dickish. And he went to a new company and he got dickish. Like, and then after all that dickheadedness, he went around and he lied about it for years and years and years and years and years. And it's very, very recent in his very, very old age where he wants to finally admit, even though there's mounds of proof, we didn't really need him to be honest about it. thousands of people that are willing to come forward and proof on video and audio and all kinds of other things where he is. Like, and like, oh yeah, well, thank you for finally owning up to it. Like, thank you for doing the absolute bare minimum, because he can say like, oh yeah, well, that's how you have to be in wrestling. There are people that have gotten really high up the card and have been successful that have not been the douche canoe that he is.
But were they ever as big as me, brother?
Could they have been if it wasn't for him being a dick? Probably.
Yeah.
Did he make it all on his own? Or is that man he's throwing in the turnbuckle have a lot to do with why he was successful in the WWE?
Yeah. Or the man getting
It
married, or the man getting married later, or the one that just broke up
or
the
the one that
pinfall.
just intervened.
Yeah.
Like he can say it was all him, it was all him, it was all him. Like there
Even
are a
even
lot
though
of other
even though he's
people.
may he rest in peace, but on public record, may not the nicest person either. The one that he just tagged in, probably he contributed as well.
He did his fair share of contributions to Hogan legacy. He is also not my favorite person, so I am very much rooting for the heels in this match. Has one of my favorite people that I've ever met, and one of my favorite Twitters coming in here.
Fucking the jabroni Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, love it. I love it.
I do remember, since I don't know what I'm going to bring this up again. I remember just yes because Cheeky Baby on Twitter is just I love it. I remember one time he was like, good night, jabronis, fuck the Hulk Hogan, he have no dick." And I was
Yeah,
just like, that's the best thing I've ever read.
I love him. I love him. And he comes off as such a dick on Twitter, but once again, things that I've heard, like he's a pretty good guy.
I don't know Sheik. He's just kind of he's Cheeky Baby.
He's cheeky. I mean, I've never met him. I don't
I
know a
had
lot
the
of people that
I
have
had the
actually met him.
we had the chance to meet him WrestleMania weekend. We were gonna try and split the cost of a photo, but it was like he wasn't doing just selfies only. He was only doing his combo, which was like $70, and we're like, we we really want to do that, and who's getting the autograph, and like it was one of those like, hey, if it's $40, we'll go 20 each, or or whatever. But it was like enough for like, do we really want to go that much each on Cheek? You know, we're we're already we already got like 2 more days of this trip, and we're already broke. So
Yeah.
maybe it's not as high a priority to me, Cheeky Baby. Um.
He needs to be watching Hogan because that little freaking ass hat will cheat.
Oh yeah, it's like how he cheats to win his belt back from the Undertaker later on this year, and then has the gall on Royal Rumble '92 to bitch and be like, "Jack Tunney screwed us over, brother. Screwed all the Hulkman." Like you cheated, Hulk. Yes, you got cheated first, but you're supposed to be setting a good example to the little Hulksters. And the one example is two wrongs don't make a right.
See, that's what's wrong with the world now. That's what's wrong with the world. World's
Everybody,
going to shit
because
because
everybody.
everybody listened to Hulk Hogan when they were kids.
To be fair,
You're welcome.
when we were kids, Stone Cold Steve Austin was not much morally better.
What bad lessons did Stone Cold Steve Austin teach us? Because
two wrongs. He very much said, two wrongs do make a right as long as you're doing it to Vince McMahon.
well,
That
That
that is the world today we live in.
that stands
Was
to be
the
corrected. As long as you're doing it to Vince McMahon, I
no,
don't see
but
the
what I'm
problem.
with Stone the I can tell the whole world has the Stone Cold Steve Austin mentality. Like, hey, it's okay to do this to people as long as you don't like them and as long as they're bad. It's you consider them bad. It's okay. You hate that
My
guy is perfectly okay. Why? Because you hate him.
my personal life lessons from Stone Cold Steve Austin is stun the person, drink a beer, spill it on them, flip them off, and don't trust anybody. That's fine. It's how I handle my personal business. Don't come for me to do your taxes. If you don't want to smell like beer and get stunned, you don't want me to do your taxes.
Hey, why don't you disqualify the Warrior there, Sid? But no, the lessons
No, I gotta pay attention to something else.
the
Hulkster, bury me, brother.
you're only half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you do.
God, you want to talk
No,
about somebody with a fucking golden shovel? Fucking coming at Cody Rhodes. Here's the guy in the gold goddamn shorts that you need to come after.
that just makes the fact that he put over um no one what he is. It just makes like his 2002 run where he literally put over Rock, Angle, and Brock cleanly. All the more like dag. Like Hulk must have been in a very happy place at that time. I mean that sincerely.
I
Because
I don't I don't know how they got him talked into doing it. I do know that at one point with that he wanted to come. They had him convinced that he was putting over the Rock, but he was going to get to come back and get his win back, and when he got his win back, he would win the title from the Rock. So it wasn't coming from a place of love and doing the honors for the next generation. It was because he thought he was going to get something out of it better.
yeah, I'm sure,
That
but still, it's like you like look in 2002 where he does still for all intents and purposes put over the Rock, um, Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar. Then fast forward to you know 3 years later, he won't even he won't even do a second match with Shawn Michaels to make sure that stays even. He can't do that. A year after that, he won't put over Randy Orton. Randy Orton's Legend Killer gimmick is chopped off at the knees because Hulk Hogan cannot be a legend that gets killed, brother. And it's just like, man, 2002 was a very underrated and special time in wrestling, and I don't think it gets a lot of talk, but it's just like you had so much crazy shit going on that like we just don't think about nowadays. You had Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin one company. Hulk Hogan's putting people over. Shawn Michaels is wrestling again. Fucking it was
it was such a big like convergence of eras
mm-hmm.
into one because you were coming in the end of the Attitude Era. You still had that golden era people coming in and out and kind of finishing up, like really putting the end cap on their careers. We had the war was over.
the
You
only
had
the only thing it was really missing would have been if Brett and Vince would have made up if Brett wouldn't have had his stroke and gotten hurt, if you
mhm.
would have had like Brett make up with Vince then, it would have just been like kaboom of all the things.
There was one other match. One other match that well, maybe two other matches that really could have been done in that era around in the early
Ric
2000s.
Flair was there.
Yeah, they could have done Goldberg and Austin.
Yeah,
They could have done Sting and Taker,
yeah.
or any combination with those four guys is really like the big I think it's a big missing puzzle piece
That
in
is.
wrestling history. Oh, look. Oh, look. Look at who's a damn dirty cheater. Don't pay attention to the fucking dust, Sid. Yeah, nothing happened here. It's all legit. It's just fine.
Ultimate Warrior was running out of the ring to get fired with that chair.
Fucking. Yeah, salute. Salute, everybody. We cheated.
Yeah. Such a rush for this meaningless tag belt. Yeah, where's my belt? Yeah, well, didn't you just throw it at Sid like, 2
Yeah, you
minutes
didn't
ago?
give a shit about it. You tossed it away like your old t shirt. Fucking Bret Hart treated Mr. Perfect Singlet with more respect than you treated the goddamn belt.
And we have more than 20 minutes left, and it's time for a wedding.
Ugh.
What the fuck was that? Like, that gesture, just what the fuck? Okay, so
He's asking for more juice. That's what it was.
Okay, I saw the jumbotron there, so maybe we were seeing the exploits of the Mountie.
At least we're ending with Macho. I know it's not your favorite segment.
It's a wrestling wedding. Like,
don't worry, we've still got 5 minutes of posturing by the great cheat.
Hogan must pose. The fuck? He's not calling the Warrior back out because the Warrior's backstage getting fired right now.
He's like, well, I thought I was wanting the Warrior, but Vince said it had to be Sid.
I don't know why, brother.
That cost me $50.
People have been getting their clothes ripped off a lot tonight.
Oh, there's a lot.
Sid picking his nose real quick, yeah.
I'm really, really, really surprised that Hogan would ever let this happen because Sid was a lot bigger than he was.
And in better shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sid, like, a lot more tone than Hogan. Sid's a little more tone. Hulk might have a little bit more, the Pythons might be bigger on Hogan. But
I don't think the Pythons were bigger.
I
think that angle we just had shows that Sid had the bigger arms.
I was gonna say that it's close. Sid has a more toned chest and toned back and everything, but
thank you, Jesus.
yeah. Oh God, no! They're keeping this in.
You know, that guy kind of looks like Vince Russo.
Oh God, they are still doing this. Okay, so all the things I said earlier now just out the window, and they come back to this shit. What the fuck? Okay, so no, Peacock did not censor implied jail rape for just put it out there. And we also came back. Yes, Bobby Heenan. Yes, thank you, Bobby.
Why is that not some kind of a gif?
Got Piper just yeah clap, and then you got it, and you got Heenan with his he just. I know Piper's a baby face at the time, but like still, like um how much thing that killed Piper on the inside to have to be like, all right, Hogan, yeah. Zillions. Yeah.
Way to
Fucking
bury the lead there, Vince.
yeah, we go Vince. Yeah, he has to still put his commentary in. I think he's asking you to marry him. What a
He's got to
maneuver!
build it up to ask her.
What a maneuver! Getting that ring out of the box. Is he gonna use it to ask for a proposal?
He's having second thoughts. I gotta help him. I gotta help him.
Being cheated there.
And nobody took the mic from him.
I take the mic from Tony all the time.
Yeah. Just one. Just one knee.
Ugh.
Yeah, now they get into their montage.
This is not the music that they had on the damn. Yeah,
There's been a lot of music cover up and redoing
yeah,
for
that's it.
Peacock.
Yeah, this was not the one they had on Anthology that was for the montage. And this is
Yeah.
pretty obviously a newer song.
They also don't ever have a um the American Badass or anything like that for the Undertaker.
That one I
They
understand, but this one was made in house though. That song.
they maybe this was a Jim Johnson song that they just didn't want to pay him for.
Yeah,
They don't like paying him royalty.
but sometimes they have to
Sometimes.
because they're like, we're not gonna not have that one.
Well, they're doing the same thing to the CFOs now.
Yeah.
Tommaso Ciampa has brand new music. I know that dates the podcast a little, but they changed his music and they've changed everybody else's who had CFO music, except for like Kevin Owens. It'll change too. It's fine.
We're
We're just gonna montage all of Elizabeth's outfits right now. It's fine. Her walking to the ring in this dress and her walking to the ring in this dress.
yeah.
I'm
Okay. Like
a little jealous of like the sequins pantsuits. I want to wear sequins pantsuits
to work.
all the time. Think I won't do it.
Oh, I know you would. They're just doing that so you take the ropes down.
Yeah.
uh,
It's also like one of the most successful wrestling weddings overall there was.
yeah, it's the aftermath where they get you,
Yeah. At
This,
least, you know,
this did set the standard of you're never going to make it through a wrestling wedding without some shenanigans. Like,
yeah.
I kind of wish Bobby Heenan would say more stuff now.
No, because Piper just threatened his life.
I know, but still, it'd be funny. Gotta wonder who these kids were.
I wonder whose kids these were.
Yeah, like were they wrestlers' kids or? We
The ring bear is really a midget. You're
That was their
welcome.
go-to. I mean, I'm trying to see if like any of them look familiar. Like I could have seen like maybe like some of Hogan's like for real like Hogan's kids being in this because I don't think Savage and Hogan hate each other at this time, and um um you know I know there was old pictures of the old WWF merchandise catalog where you'd see like Shane and Stephanie were the ones wearing the shirts, you know.
Yeah.
How come Macho Man doesn't get any groomsmen?
I think he did get one because they had a guy walking down.
Okay.
Yeah,
Who was
he's
that
got a
guy? Who
groomsman.
was that guy?
Oh, who is that?
You know, they could have the genius. They go, they weren't being open with it. You know, could have been the genius, and that would have been like, oh hey, that's one thing I'm gonna say. You know, I thought was cool when they did the Stephanie test wedding. Was like they had like actually Stephanie's real life friends come out, and then like test groomsmen were like the Hardy Boys. So it's like, hey, that makes sense. Like they're actually like, it's not just random girl one and random guy two here. It's like, hey, it makes sense. Like Test is friends with the Hardy Boys. That all right.
Even though Stephanie had Moolah and Mae Young at her bachelorette party.
Well, you know, they like to party. You know. Um.
Yeah.
Um. Though even like I guess making even more sense, and I hate to bring him up again, but like during the Aces and Eights thing with Brooke Hogan and Bully Ray, like they brought back Spike and like Tommy Dreamer to be groomsmen for Bully Ray, and they weren't in the company. It's like that's a nice touch. It's like, okay, you believe that this is a real thing going on because they would be part of that. So, kudos there, and that's about the most kudos you'll ever hear me give Bully Ray. Especially now.
That hat is just magnificent.
So I'm guessing, since I'm looking at how much time is left on this, because we're getting really silent, and I'm really just kind of don't know what to say about all of this. This is the downside of doing things like this. Um, that I'm guessing the aftermath with the snake in the present did not happen live on pay per view. That was probably a Coliseum home video exclusive. Maybe that aired on Wrestling Challenge or Superstars. The following week.
Yeah, I think it did. They were very much in the mindset of let the crowd for pay-per-views go home happy.
Yeah. Well, those are backstage vignettes. They probably get filmed it like, oh my god, and then there's
They went old school with the vows here.
yeah. Alright, he's an old school kind of guy.
What?
Still,
Again?
my double married. I don't understand.
I don't want anybody to know that Elizabeth kisses.
Please don't see this. I don't like this. Don't like this at all. Yeah, no. not to take away from the moment this was, but can you believe that both Elizabeth and Randy were almost ready for divorce at this point in time in real life?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe. Maybe they felt a little bit better about it after this. Maybe this extended the inevitable.
Maybe. Now they're showing all their camera angles. They were having some Kevin Dunn fails earlier, but like now it's all okay.
Well, they're not giving away any business secrets now.
Well, not really anything to add here, and it's fixing to go off the air. So thank you all for watching along with us. Before we go, um, I know last time we kind of asked what best match of the night was on Super Brawl 3, but I really don't feel like that's a question for this one. Like, so what is the second best match? Since we all kind of know the answer to this question of what's the best match on this card.
Hmm.
Are we gonna say Virgil?
I mean, it was a pretty good match.
Yeah.
It had all the elements. It was a solid match. It had the good ending. Yeah, I would say the Virgil match is a solid 2.
To me, it's either the we either have to put over Virgil or the Nasty Boys, and I don't know. It's just I guess I'll put over Virgil because at least Ted was in there. Um, yeah. But overall grade, what would you give an over? This is something we didn't do last time. Overall grade to SummerSlam '91 on the spot.
Oh, I'm taking out the Hogan discount that any pay-per-view of the time period would have. I'll give it a B.
You're being a lot nicer than me. I'm giving it a C. I'll give it a C plus, and that is with Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect putting a lot of it on their back. Um, yeah, it's a C plus. Like, it's not awful. I've certainly seen worse, but it's also other than Bret and Perfect, and there's nothing really worth going back and looking at with fresh eyes. And there's a lot that has not aged well
Yeah.
in any way. So yeah, that is it for this week. Thank you for watching with us. If there's a pay per view you'd like for us to do a watch along with, let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed, please give a like, share, subscribe for more content, or you can tweet at me or post to my social media pages your requests for a watch along. We'll try and get to Facebook.com/AthleticGeekA9, Twitter athletic_geekA9, Instagram athleticgeekA9. On Patreon if you'd like to help this channel out financially. CJ, you have social media, do you not?
I have social media. Come see all the fun things on Twitter and the jabroni marks at CJTMall0.
Yes. So definitely do that, and don't work yourself and don't know it's work and work yourself into a shoot, brother. And we'll see you next time.